The coronavirus pandemic is one of the largest disasters to hit the world in the last century. There are hardly any positive impacts on this virus, as it has negatively affected many people's health, careers, and livelihoods. There are rules that now limit the amount of people that can gather together, as the CDC and government are requiring everyone to socially distance themselves. This necessary but unfortunate requirement has come with a cost. People's jobs have been affected by this virus and expectations of social distancing. Many individuals are out of work completely, or, at the very minimum, trying to figure out ways to adjust to a new style of work that accommodates protecting society's health and prevention of COVID-19. These accommodations that we specifically want to discuss are how people are adjusting to working from home. Remote work is a completely different ballgame from being in the office, as it involves new adjustments that can negatively impact this organization or business as a whole. This is especially the case as numerous amounts of businesses were not expecting nor had the time to prepare for this pandemic. Most organizations and businesses simply did not have enough time to effectively collaborate on how to handle work situations and needs from home as opposed to in the work environment. Our group wants to specifically reflect on how management positions are affected and the processes that individuals in these positions need to go through to effectively keep their organizations as normalized as possible during this time. We will also be discussing the overall environments that are now being impacted by workers and how social responsibility by each worker is especially detrimental to the overall success of each organization during this time. How each individual worker assumes their roles as best they can in an ethical way is also extremely important in a business's success. Finally, we will discuss the integration and implementation of organization structure and design of the businesses into this new adjustment of working from home.
The transition to working from home due to the coronavirus has caused many changes in the basic elements of individual behavior in organizations. The change of working from home has caused everybody's behaviors to change differently, but in a big way. Some individuals may have begun to struggle with self-efficacy, working from home and not having peers constantly giving them feedback, as well as just being in the isolation of their own home. Inducements such as job security are not as stable as they were before. A massive downturn in the economy caused an unexpected pay cut for many workers, as well as an opportunity for growth in their organization that they were looking towards before. Other self-esteem could have transitioned into a bad spot due to the fear of the virus or guilt that they may still have a job after seeing some of their friends and coworkers get laid off. These are all things that are individual differences and will affect each person in a different way. People who are type A's may still have great organizational commitment, but may be experiencing different types of stress, such as burnout, from a lack of uncertainty and burnout in the world around them. People who are type B have other issues that they may be looking into, such as being less inclined to have a sense of urgency while not in the office, which can lead to different things such as absenteeism. At home, it's a lot more difficult to control workplace behavior because management is not in the office with employees. For example, employees could be parents at home who have to help their child in school, or the lack of office presence leaves them to engage in other distractions. The changes in the work environment may have been a drastic change in job satisfaction or dissatisfaction as well. If you love going to work every day, it may be a bummer not to get to see your coworkers, but if you felt the office slowed you down and productivity and working from home made you feel free, it can increase your job satisfaction and effort. The risk propensity that managers had to gauge when trying to make decisions on whether to work from home before coronavirus went straight out the window with this thing. The behavior of working from home was felt as unproductive and risky before coronavirus by some managers, and they were forced to quickly adapt or take the risk of waiting it out. These are some changes in the basic elements and individual behaviors in organizations due to the switch to work from home because of the coronavirus.
In Chapter 8, we cover the topics of managing human resources in organizations. We know that the key responsibilities of human resource department in an organization is about the attraction, retention, and development of an effective workforce. The coronavirus pandemic has definitely arisen a great challenge to the organizations to keep their employees working healthily and effectively at home. During this rough time, the role of human resourcing in organizations has never been more important than ever. They need to maintain relations between the employers and employees and giving them support and protections in accordance with the law. About selecting and developing human resources, which are mainly the choosing and training process for the employees, are now making changes due to the coronavirus pandemic. Many firms are now providing online interviews to let applicants being assessed and tested at home. For example, one of the big four accounting firm, EY, is now having online student recruitment process in response to the spread of COVID-19. And more companies are also providing online trainings to make sure the employees can stay safe at home while getting the information and knowledge that they need. The coronavirus has caused many negative effects on the compensation and benefits of the employees. Many companies are making much less profits than normal times, and because of this, they are cutting the payments of employees. This is truly a hard time for millions of American workers. Even though some companies are trying to cover it up by offering relief funds to workers. For example, Amazon is now launching a 25 million relief fund for its employees, and I think this would help to ease the financial strain for them. And during this special time, it's still very important for companies to maintain their labor relations. The legal environment of human resource management provides many protections for employees and requires employers to contemplate as they develop and refine their response to the rapidly changing circumstances. According to the National Labor Relations Act, employers with represented employees have a duty to bargain over new policies developed during to the COVID-19. This ensured the rights for employees to get reasonable payments under the effect of COVID-19 and also protect the laborer to find a way by letting them choose uh, the best way to improve terms and conditions of employment and otherwise improve their lot as employees. And I think this is supported by law for employees insist to work from home as they can avoid the effects of coronavirus. And it's also stated in the Family and Medical Leave Act that the firm should provide employees who are confirmed with COVID-19 and need to leave for medical treatment up to 12 weeks. And I think all these essential changes can overcome the negative effects and let us recover from the coronavirus pandemic.
Coronavirus has caused a huge change in the general task and internal environment of many companies. The general environment was extremely affected in the ways that less money was in circulation in the world economy. Companies moved to working remotely, and the relationship with businesses and the government were close. This made new regulations and standards for businesses to follow, or be sued or fined. The hardest parts of the task environment that have been hit by this pandemic are the regulators, customers, and suppliers. Regulators have put in place safety procedures and sanitation requirements for most all businesses. Plastic or glass are in front of more cashiers, and gloves are worn by many essential workers. Stock has gone down in many industries, but the meat industry, there is meat being made at higher rates, causing for more empty freezers and mass graves for many animals. customers are having to lower their contact and now order more from online stores than in person. Internally, many businesses are laying off workers with unemployment rates at a high. Work is remote, and businesses have been putting out statements and information to stockholders and customers. Many meetings are now virtual, and if in person, they are at a further distance than ever before. Most businesses throughout this time have been adhering to their social responsibilities and keeping people aware and involved in what is necessary and what is also going on, from what we can tell. Many companies, while laying off workers, have made it a point that employees can keep their benefits and have given them furlough or unemployment checks. While originally some corporations failed with social distancing guidelines not being fully enforced, many adjusted to the action correctly and the correct expectations over time.
In conclusion, working from home has left many different impacts that have affected companies and individuals alike. Whether it be from loss of job or just adjusting to a home environment, almost everyone in the workforce are susceptible to change due to the pandemic. As a group, we wanted to show just how this conflict has impacted the way managers operate and the new adjustments that needed to be made and are crucial for a business's success. I believe that we also have gained valuable information from learning and researching how people improvise during this time, as it could very well happen to us in our futures. We can keep this valuable information in the backs of our minds in case a situation like COVID-19 were to happen in the future. Thank you.